I pretty much built this entirely myself and kind of just made it up as I went along. I love this space back here, and it makes it really feel like a little home. I hated when people told me to try it out first. I was like, no, I don't want to try it out first. I just want to do it. Hey guys, my name's Alexi, and this is my 2019 Ram ProMaster that I self-converted with my sister. I'm so excited to share it with you guys today, so let's go check it out. One of the first things people see when they come into my van is usually my ceiling. It was one of my favorite parts of the van build. I got the idea from Instagram. I saw it on somebody else's actually as a floor. And I don't know why. I was originally going to go with the wood planks, but decided to try to make their floor the ceiling. We have the kitchen right when you walk in. I can't take credit for this layout. I saw it on another tour when I first got home after buying my van. I Googled immediately Ram ProMaster and saw different layouts, and this was by far one of my favorites. It was like my dream house in a van, and I knew I wanted to do the kitchen with overlooking whatever view I was going to be driving up to. I loved the idea of like making pancakes in the morning and just looking out at the views. One of the things that was important to me was maximizing my counter space, so I actually added a flip-up countertop, which flips up like that. And that's really nice for like cooking, and it just gives you a lot of more extra room. And also I have a swivel seat so that when I am kind of in the morning, it also kind of serves as a like little kitchen table. I also put in a induction cooktop, and I went with the induction cooktop because originally gas, like the idea of having the propane tank, really freaked me out. Now if I went back, I probably would just stick with propane, but I do really like the fact that it's a flat surface, and overall I don't use it as much as I thought I would, but the few times that I have were well worth it. Over here we have my kitchen sink. The best part about this is that it can swivel, so it moves all around, and if you want, you could take it out and bring it outside so that you can shower off or do whatever you want with it outside. And then under the faucet, I have a kind of farmhouse styled sink. I decided to, instead of mounting it on the outside like I had seen, I mounted it on underneath the butcher block, so that added a little bit of depth to the sink. And it's really nice to have it be this deep just because it makes it a lot more functional. And especially when I'm traveling, I didn't realize how helpful having a sink would be to just kind of shove little loose items into. So it comes in handy in more ways than one. And then up here, I have a pantry. And this pantry is kind of just for food that I use it for. And it was important to me to have kind of a designated spot for my food. And I love having it because it makes it really feel like it's a little kitchenette. Under here, I also have a fridge, and the fridge is, I'm not sure the exact liters, but it's a smaller fridge because I don't live in the van full time. So I didn't really need that much storage space with refrigeration, but I mostly use it for the milk in my coffee. And then across from this side, I have my little coffee area. Anybody that knows me knows that I absolutely love my morning coffee. So I have my Mr. Coffee pot and a little plant, and I actually have like duct tape on the bottom of them so they can kind of stay in place when I'm driving. One of my favorite parts about this whole entire section is this wall. It's actually also a vinyl like my ceiling. The tile also kind of helps disguise this little secret compartment that I have over here, because when you're living in a van or traveling in a van temporarily, you want to really use every inch of space. So it was actually my sister's idea. When I was building the shower, I had a lot of space behind it because of the curvature of the wall. And she was kind of like, can we make like a spice rack or something? So I never quite finished painting it, but I use it for like soap. And one day what I want to do is put a net on it so that I could really kind of put more spices and stuff like that in it. When I first was interested in building the van, my first thought was just to do a really simple build, like get a used old rundown van and throw a mattress in the back and just have it for road trips. But my dad actually said to me, he was like, if you do that, you're just dumping money down a drain. So if you're gonna do this, do it right. And when he said that, I was kind of like, you're 100% right, because if a van breaks down, I'm not gonna know the first thing about fixing it. And that's kind of when the idea expanded to doing more of like a luxury camper. And as much as I love the outdoors, I'd be lying if I said I'm not more of a glamper. So I loved the idea of trying to make this into a really comfortable space and doing it to like the best of my abilities. When I started to pick the van that I wanted to build, I really had no idea where to start. Luckily, I had a friend who had done something similar, so he recommended a Ram ProMaster, and by the end of the week of looking, I had found one. It was posted for $19,000, but after taxes and all the works, it ended up being $26,000. And then I think, estimating wise, I put about $15,000 to $20,000 into the actual build itself. In total, I say that it's costed me somewhere between $40,000 and $44,000. So then when you come into the van, you come into the part that's kind of the living room slash bedroom. And I love that I decided to do the convertible bed because it gives you so much more space during the daytime to just hang out, and it really opens up the space. And one of my favorite things to do is when I open the doors and it just looks out over an incredible view. It turns into about a full-size bed. I think it's about 6 feet the width of the van, and I did my best when I was building the walls. They are insulated, but I did my best to keep as much space as I could. So yeah, it's about 6 feet wide. One of my other favorite parts about the space is just how flexible it is. So when I have a lot of people in the van, I can kind of sit in this open living area. But when I want it to be more functional, I actually have a table that I can mount on a Lagoon swivel mount. And it's really helpful just so that I can like kind of work on whatever I'm doing during the day. I love photography, so I love to edit pictures and stuff like that. So I can kind of have a nice space to work, and also a space to eat if I'm ever having a meal in the van. I originally was gonna do the couches more cream color, and then the whole van was just looking so white, and I was like, I need some color in here. So I decided to go with this sage green color, and I absolutely love it. It was actually a mattress that I cut up and then made into these cushions. And then I got the cushions upholstered by a lady in my town, and she did such a good job with them and kind of fixed some of my mistakes where I like ended up cutting off too much where I was supposed to leave some extra. So she fixed them up for me, and they came out better than I could have imagined. So I love this space back here, and it makes it really feel like a little home. And then on my wall over here, I have a picture of a van that one of my friends got me, and I just absolutely love it. She got it for me during the build, and the build could be stressful at times. So it just was kind of like end goal in mind and had all the right vibes. When I was thinking about storage and how many cabinets I wanted, I definitely wanted a lot of storage because it's such a small space, but I decided to keep storage on one side of the van and then leave this side open just because I felt like it really made the space feel bigger. And then at nighttime, we could kind of like put a projector and watch a movie on that side, which I think is kind of cool. So I think that my advice for anybody who would be considering doing van life or trying to build a van is just to be really clear about your intentions. I had multiple intentions, and I guess in some ways they've worked out, and in other ways they've been learning lessons. If you're looking to do van life for actual travel, really see if being in a van in this size, like I hated when people told me to try it out first. I was like, no, I don't want to try it out first. I just want to do it. But I think in hindsight, it was a good advice to maybe try it out first and see if it's even something that you like to, and the way that you like to travel. So I think, yeah, just being clear on your intentions of, are you in it for the build process? Are you in it for the travel? Are you in it for both? Looking back, I'm like, oh my goodness, I could have done it a lot more simply. So yeah, just, I guess, thinking a little bit more. Maybe more people out there think about it longer than I did, but that would be my my advice. So then we move on to the bathroom, and this is one of my favorite parts of the build. Also one of my most proudest parts of the build, because I pretty much built this entirely myself and kind of just made it up as I went along, and it's still standing. So one of my absolutely favorite parts of it is this barn sliding door. And I've seen a few of these on Instagram and YouTube. That's where I got the idea. But I also saw somebody who had a window door to one of their pantries. So I decided to kind of combine the two and make this window sliding barn door. And I just feel like it kind of opens up the space a little bit, and it's really nice. And then when you go into the shower, you have a nice shower head that can actually come out of the shower and kind of shower you off if you want to shower outside. And I also have a 30-gallon water tank, and so that supplies the water to my shower and also to my kitchen sink. I don't live out of the van, but I wanted to make sure that when I was traveling, if I was ever by myself, I'd be really comfortable. And so that was kind of the deciding factor with whether or not to put in the bathroom. And I'm really happy I did. I honestly don't use it that much because I'm usually staying where there's places I can go to the bathroom. But for the few times that I wasn't somewhere, it came in handy. And when I'm not using it, it actually is a really great storage space. Over here, I have a full-length mirror, and I put that in mostly to open up the space. As much as I did want a mirror in the van, I don't always look wonderful when I'm camping. So it's more to open up the space, and I love that it reflects the views when you're pulled up to somewhere like this. One of the cool parts about the back of my van is that this is actually a table. This was one of the ways that I wanted to like really maximize the space, and so I made the little step a pull-out table. I got this idea also from somebody else I saw, so can't take credit for it, but I love having it, and it's been a cool feature so that you can eat outside and kind of enjoy. It's also storage. This is where I keep the 2 benches that unfold and help you sit and enjoy a meal. So I decided to buy the 136 wheelbase, which is the shorter version of the Ram ProMasters, mostly because when I was deciding to buy and convert a van, the idea of driving the van was like the most intimidating part of it. And the thought of driving one that fits in more normal parking spaces and just isn't as big as like a school bus made me feel a little bit more comfortable. And I wanted it to be as, I guess, stealth as possible. So I just love that it fits in very easily. I'm also from New York, so if I'm driving it in the city area, it just felt more doable and manageable. Thank you so much for watching my van tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you're feeling inspired. I always love sharing my story, and if you want to check out my Instagram, it's Alexi_Eileen, and I also have a YouTube channel, also Alexi Eileen, and I'm hoping to post some of my road trips and all the things that I've done already with the van. So if you're interested, come check me out over there. And I have to say a huge, huge thank you to all the people that have already followed me throughout the beginning of this process to the end. The build was at times treacherous, so your support has literally gotten me through van life at times and the ups and downs of it all. So thank you so much, and thanks to everyone watching. Bye.